So we have George behind the camera, he's going to be filming this haircut for you today. And Tom is behind him, who's going to be answering any of your questions. Please do ask any questions, the more questions the better. So what I'm doing for you today is I'm working with a classic French bob look. So this is my gorgeous model, Hermine, and what we're going to be doing is working with a triangular graduation. Now when I say triangular, I'm talking about my shape. So where my lengths are going on the horizontal. So triangular, when we're talking, means shorter at the back, getting longer towards the front. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually over-directing each section back onto the previous section. So number 2 will go to number 1, number 2 to 3, 4 to 3, sorry, 2, 3 to 2, 4 to 3, 5 to 4, and so on. So I've just started working with a vertical section in the back, and I'm pivoting around, building up weight towards behind the ear. With graduation, what I mean is we're working from a length that's shorter in the bottom of the head, getting longer towards the top of the head. So I'm going to carry on working through these sections until I reach an area that I'm going to be happy with my build-up of weight. I'm working one side first, and then I'm going to work exactly the same on the other side. To help maintain my balance, I'm going to be doing the same amount of sections on both sides as well. So guys, please let us know where you're tuning in from. It's great to see where people tune in. I just want to say a massive thank you to Hairbrain for having us on. We actually haven't done one of these for, I was looking, it's nearly a year. The last one we did was in July, and we just opened up this space, which is a brand new academy in Brighton and Hove, which is in Sussex, down on the coast in the UK, and it's been a really great year for us. It's been hectic, but it's been really good fun. We've started releasing all our courses. We're doing a lot of in-salon education for our staff, and also externally for other hairdressers that are coming on our courses. Okay, so I'm just reaching this point now where I'm going to be doing 2 more sections, so this one and 1 more. And I'm going to start to see my build-up of weight, and I'll show you guys then what we're creating. Now, I've even gone through the effort of getting a French model for this French bob, so hopefully you guys will be grateful. Okay, so you can see how my finger here is angling lower towards the corner, getting higher towards the back of the head, the centre back. What this is going to do is it's going to help slim this back area and build the weight towards the front. I'm going to do 1 more section through here now, and I'm going to show you my build-up of weight.
I hope Harry says hi from some beach in Florida, James.
In Florida, wow, thank you so much. What time is it there, guys? Let me know. Any questions about anything that we're doing today? There's no such thing as a silly question, so please go ahead and ask away. So what I'm doing with my sections here is I'm working my sections how I want my fingers to be. By having those sections in, it's going to help me control my finger position, which in turn will help me control my build-up of weight and my shape. So I'm going to show you now, guys. If you want to come round here, George, we can see. We've got this 2 p.m. What time is it here? 7 o'clock here in England. We're staying up late for you. It's way past Tom's bedtime. So you can see our weight, how we've gone from shorter in the bottom, getting longer towards the top, and then this weight through here is building towards behind the ear. So we want to build up that weight behind the ear. Now, George, if you just want to come around this other side, I'm now going to work the same way on the other side, so pivoting around the head, and now my finger position is going to have to change. As I've worked this way, my thumb is pointing which way I'm going around the head. As I'm coming through here, my thumb now needs to point this way, so I'm going to turn my fingers upside down. Now, if you haven't done that before, that can be quite a tricky concept to get hold of. But as soon as you get used to it, it's a much more comfortable way to work around. And plus you're going to, in turn, get a better balance. So I can see that I'm coming through, I'm only cutting to my first knuckle. What that's going to do, it's going to allow me to keep an even tension throughout the haircut. As soon as I start going past that, I start to lose tension in my fingers. You see, I've cut myself. I start to lose tension through here, so I'm going to end up chasing weight around the head. So move your head a little bit down, perfect. Now it's always quite tricky when working these shorter shapes, getting into the nape area and picking up the hair, making sure that your combing is clean and even. I always find this when I'm teaching, that this is always tends to be the tricky spot. And for me, I think the way to work around that is discipline. So if I pick up the hair and it's all screwed up and not correct, then I'm going to go back through and pick it up. If I actually get the hair in my fingers first, and then with the comb it into the fingers, I find that's the best way to keep your combing clean. Remember, if you can't comb cleanly, then your cutting won't be clean. So I'm going to carry on working, pivoting round. When I'm pivoting, I'm always starting my section at the same point. And what's really tricky with this haircut is maintaining the correct elevation. Because what we're doing essentially is we're working from vertically and moving around to working horizontally. Now the reason why we start vertically in the back is because that's the area that we're looking to slim. Okay, whenever we're working vertically, we're going to be flattening the head shape more. When we work horizontally, we tend to be heavier and build more weight. And as I want to build weight behind the ear, that's where I'm working towards moving my fingers into a horizontal position. So guys, please, any questions, let us know. If this is a similar way that you'd work this haircut, let us know. Or if you have any other ways that you would do this, it'd be great to hear them. I'm just going to have a really quick little cross-check here, just to check that my balance is looking good throughout. And luckily enough, it is for now. We'll see when we cross-check this at the end. But I'm carrying through, working, making sure my sections are really nice and clean as I go. I'm not picking up the hair that I don't need. My comb comes in at the section, that's the guide for my fingers. And my finger position comes out. So the reason why a lot of my friends that I work with here say I use nail scissors, they take the mick out of my scissors. But the reason why I like to use smaller scissors, especially for things like this, is when I'm in this area, if I've got a longer scissor, it's going to be much harder for me to get my hand in there. So by using a smaller scissor, it allows me to get into all the little nooks and crannies and have more control over the line that I'm cutting. Guys, let me know what scissors you prefer. Do you prefer longer scissors? What kind of size scissors do you tend to use generally? It'd be great to know. So with this look, what I'm looking at doing is building this weight through the back, leaving more length towards the front. And what I'm eventually going to do, I'm actually going to diffuse the shape as well. So I'm going to diffuse dry it at the end. So I want the structure within the haircut to do all the work for me. So what we teach at Cuttlefish is we teach precision haircutting, and we also teach curly haircuts. So and it's a it's a different thing altogether. I always describe it as in it's like using two different materials. So if I was a clothes maker and I only had used velvet, then if I move to working with denim, I'm going to find it much more challenging. So it's about understanding and knowing how the different materials are going to react. It's going to help you work with different textures of hair. Because we get everything through the door here. We get a lot of afro hair, we get loose curls, we get strong curls, we get dead straight hair. So for me, as I only cut hair, I think it's really important that I can cut every type of hair. And that's what we try and promote through our juniors and our assistants as well. So I'm just looking through here, I'm building a little bit of excess weight. Now, what does elevation do? Elevation creates our weight on the vertical, so on the up and down. So if I see something that's a little bit heavier than I want it, I know that all I have to do is just elevate that slightly more. And a way that I can do that is just by combing from the underneath first. That's going to help bring the hair up. I'm still coming through in a very technical manner, so I can control the look that I'm creating.
Grace says hi from Massachusetts.
Hi Grace, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And guys, like I said, if you have any questions, please let me know. What I'm going to do is, after each zone that I'm working in, I'll do a quick recap, reintroduce myself, and for those that are joining now, we can see what we've done, where we've started, and we can see where we're going. So I can see that I'm building this weight up nicely, and my body position is staying behind my model. Now the reason for that is humans have tendencies, okay? And as a human, we tend to pull towards ourselves. So if I start moving my body around the head, my finger angle is naturally going to start to change to a more rounded position. So by keeping my body behind, whenever I'm working triangular, it'll encourage me to pull the hair back and maintain the shape that I'm trying to create. I hope that all makes sense, guys. If anything I said you don't really understand, or it doesn't really make sense, or you want me to describe it in a different way, please just let us know. I'll be more than happy to try and do that for you. Okay, so we're coming in to the same point now on our second side, making sure, like I said, that we're using the same amount of sections on both sides. And I'm going to do, I think we're about to use one more little section through here. And I'm going to comb, do that camera way, and comb the hair around the head. So I'm keeping everything really nice and clean as I'm working. Okay. Perfect. So this will be my last section on this second side now. So guys, please let us know where you're tuning in from. Any questions, let us know. And we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Tom will read those out for you. All right. So that's completed my second side now. I'm just moving the hair around to look at my build-up of weight. Make sure that there's no indiscrepancies. If there's something that's not quite right in here, I'll know because it will start kicking out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cross-check through this back area now. And as we started vertically in the back, I'm then going to switch to horizontal. And as I'm working, I'm just dusting. It's called cross-checking and not cross-cutting. So if I see anything that's wrong here, then I'm going to go back to my original technique and find out where that problem starts. This is a bit like this underneath area is like the foundation of a house. It's the beginning and the structure of the building. So if something's wrong here, then we need to address it now before we move on. I see it so many times where people they just rush through the actual haircut itself, and then when they get to the end, they see it when it's dry, and they start pointing into the hair and using thinning scissors to remove it. Not that I think there's anything wrong with using those things, but I think we want to use them to make the haircut better as opposed to fixing what we've done.
Mushtaq says hello from Cape Town, also James in South Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, guys. What time is it over in Cape Town? It'd be great to know. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you enjoy what we're doing here. So now, where I'm working in my cross-checking, I've worked horizontally through the centre, and I'm now going to come through on the diagonal, the opposite way that we were working through here, to make sure that I'm connecting from the sides into the centre, and there's a nice smooth build-up of weight. Cool, so that's my one side looking good. I'm just going to come and check my other side now. I hope you guys can see everything all right. Let me know if we can do anything else. Just put your chin down a little bit more for you, Gary. Perfect.
Almost 8:15 p.m. in South Africa also.
Awesome. Perfect. Oh, so you're only about an hour away from us, guys. Perfect. Okay, so that's my underneath done. That's my foundation done. All right. So, guys, just a quick recap. Okay. My name's James Akers. I'm the creative director here at Cuttlefish Academy. We're in Brighton, Hove, in Sussex, down on the coast in the UK. And we're working on a classic little French bob. So now what I've done, I've started vertically in the centre, working shorter in the nape to longer towards the top of the head, building weight in this graduated way. I'm now pivoting my sections, working back to the previous, same on each side. Now we've built this weight and we're onto horizontal. All my sections now are going to be horizontal. So I'm going to work horizontally through the head to carry on building the weight on top of the foundation that we've already done. So I'm just going to make sure my sections are nice and clean as we're going. Just going to come round here now. And I'm working both sides together now so I can keep unison in my build-up of weight and in my balance. Beautiful. Okay, so starting in the centre. How we worked previously, we were working higher in the middle at the back of the head, getting lower towards behind the ear is what's creating my shape. So
Anna said that she needs a haircut, exclamation mark.
You'll have to come and see us, Anna. Okay, so what we've done now is we've worked building up a triangular shape. Now we've done that in two different ways, okay? When we started, because we were working vertically, what was building my triangular shape was my over direction. Now I've moved to a horizontal, it's my elevation and my cutting angle that's building that weight and building my triangular shape. So getting longer towards the front. The reason why I want to get lower towards here, not only to build weight behind the ears, but as soon as I start to come over the ear in my next section, if I'm elevating too much, then as it drops, the length will take the shape of the hairline. So I'll have a big hole where the ear is. So I'll show you when I come around to this next section that I'm going to be much lower in my elevation around the ear. So I'm working still with my sections higher at the back and lower towards the front. I'll do the same on both sides. I find keeping everything really nice and clean really helps me control my haircut. As soon as I'm not working cleanly, I can quite easily get lost in my haircut. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, because I already have a guideline from behind the ear, but I don't have one in front of the ear, I'm just going to separate the hair where I have a guide and where I don't. Now guys, with our courses, we teach a triangular course. And what that entails, it entails all the techniques within a triangular shape. So we focus and look at triangle lines and long hair and in bob lengths. We look at triangle layers, and we also do this haircut with triangle graduation. We work it slightly differently in the course, but I think that, you know, whenever I'm teaching, I always say that I don't want you to learn a haircut, I want you to learn more about hair cutting. That way you have so much more freedom in what you're doing in your work when you're working in your clients. You can do exactly the same haircut in two completely different ways. And it just makes our lives a bit more fun, I think. Okay, so on to my next section now. You see my fingers are nice and low behind the ear. As I comb that down, you'll see that that's building that weight really nicely through the ear. So you can see that that's going to sit like that without having to do too much. I want to mirror that on the other side, making sure I keep my body behind the head. That's going to encourage me to keep my shape triangular. Like I said previously, as soon as I start to move around, my fingers will naturally start to move around. So it's a bit like driving a car, isn't it? Sort of, you know, the first time I remember I sat in a car, I was like, bloody hell, how am I going to look in the mirrors and do the gears, and I've got 3 bloody pedals, I've got no chance. And then, you know, you automatically will just do it now. I think it's just a little bit the same with cutting hair can be sometimes. You know, I'm thinking about my elevation over direction, but you've done this so many times, it sort of comes more naturally to you. Okay, so I'm really happy with my build-up of weight here. I haven't got any too heavy weight lines. If you come and have a little look from the side, George, you can really see this beautiful silhouette that we're creating. And what we're going to do once we've dried, we're just going to put in a really nice little outline which will complement the rest of this haircut. Okay, so I'm going to spin them in round a little bit and just show you how we're going to work these side areas. So, what I want to do is I don't want to create a hole. Now the way that people end up creating a hole here is they elevate the hair still and cut it. What we're going to do is we're going to bring this much lower. So I'm going to maintain my triangular shape, so my finger's getting longer towards the front, but I'm now down onto the skin, as close to the skin as possible through my fingers, and I'm cutting my line in. Now the only problem with this is now my line connects, but my graduation doesn't. So this is my safety hair in the underneath. This is my line that's connecting. I don't have a hole here. But from there I can elevate this out. Now there's any little corner there, I'm just going to connect my graduation through. You can see here, I'm connecting that through. So I've got my line, and then as this sits, the graduation is going to flow really beautifully. Short hair will tend to push long hair. I'm just going to come around this way naturally. So short hair will tend to push long hair. So what we're looking at is pushing this weight forwards. Now, with triangular shapes, what they tend to do is they'll tend to elongate and close the bone structure. So slimming on the bone structure. If we were working something round, it would be the opposite. We'd be opening and widening the bone structure. But everything is subjective. You know, for some people, it depends on where you place the length as well, exactly. But as a tendency, what triangular shapes we do, they will tend to elongate and slim. So I've got my line in again. I'm going to take a little section. That's my safety hair on the underneath. I know I'm not going to have a hole with that. Make sure it's big enough. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to connect my graduation once again. There's my corner. I'm connecting it from there. Beautiful. Okay guys, so once again, my name's James Akers. We're at Cuttlefish Academy. I'm the creative director here. We've got George behind the camera. This is the gorgeous Hermine. He's let me cut her hair for today. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Tom will let us know. It'd be really cool to hear where you're tuning in from. And I'm just maintaining now that cleanliness in my sectioning, the angle of my sectioning, and by having the discipline with that, that's going to encourage me to keep disciplined and keep strong in my technique. So that's why I only use these little clips as well, because I feel like if my combing's good, I shouldn't have to be putting these big chunky clips in. You just comb the hair and that just helps the hair rest there. Alright, so I'm going to come in now from the front and just connect my line in here. Again, over the ear. I'm going to allow for the ear by combing from the underneath, so I release the tension over the ear, rest that in my hands, and then from there, again making sure I've got my little safety. This is the area that's really tricky on these haircuts. This is where we tend to have the most mistakes. And now I'm going to work back into the middle. And I really I used to work with a good friend of mine called Michael, and he had this great saying which always stuck in my head. I don't know why, but as we work back here, then we always want to come back down. So he said if you walk the dog, you always got to take it back home. So I'm going to take the dog home and make sure I'm just knocking any weight out, making sure my line's super nice and clean before we move on. And that's what precision cutting is really. It's not allowing for any little indiscrepancies in the haircut. You know, we want to have everything super strong, because even the smallest little corner can cause the hair to kick slightly differently. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that same process on the second side. So I'm nice and low again, combing over the ear, then under the ear, into my fingers. That's my safety here on the underneath. And we're elevating out from that point now. Guys, if you have any questions, please let us know. If you're liking the look of the shape, please let us know. It'd be really cool to hear where you guys are coming from and checking in from. And also, again, massive thank you to Hairbrain for having us on. I mean, it's such an incredible community that they've created, you know, giving free education for hairdressers. I know when I was training, it was so much harder to find anything like that, to really dig deep to find good education. So it's amazing what these guys are doing. They have incredible artists doing things for them. And it's just a really lovely community where we can share the things that we love, you know. Okay. Beautiful. So I can really start to see my build-up of weight now. I'm constantly assessing what I'm doing. You know, there's an old saying, it's not about what you cut, it's what you leave behind. And I think that's so important. So I'm always checking. I don't care about what's falling away and what's in my fingers. I care about what is falling and how it's falling. Because let's remember as well, the head shape plays a massive part in this, in the bone structure. You know, I could do this exact haircut on someone with a different bone structure, and it's going to fall and sit very differently. So before I start any client or any of my models, I'd always feel their bone structure so I can understand where I'm placing what and for what reason. I think, you know, that's such a huge thing for me as an educator to try and teach the students. It's not just how you do something, but why you're doing it. You know, I think that's, for a lot of us, you know, we kind of lost that a little bit. So now I'm very happy with my guide under here. I'm going to come stop at the back again. And I'm repeating again. So what I'm doing here is I'm essentially elevating slightly more each time, okay? One little tip for you is if you're ever not sure where you need to be elevating it to, because it's quite hard to know exactly where you should be elevating. If I comb this out, then I can see where my guide is. That's where I should be holding the hair on the horizontal. So I can always do a little cross-check on the vertical to make sure that I'm in the right position in my elevation. I'm just going to move you around so we don't have to have George walking around too much. Guys, any questions, please let us know. If you're liking the look of this, please let us know. It'd be great to hear where you guys are tuning in from. And if you're watching this back, so if you're not watching it live and you have a question, I'll be going over this in the next week or so, and I'll happily write to you and answer any of your questions that you have, if you do have any. So I'm getting lower, higher, lower towards the front. That's what's building my triangular shape. Alright, I'm going to come down this way, mate. Around for you. So the beautiful thing about working these haircuts, it's really about fluidity. So as I move in and in round, it's quite difficult to do, but I'll show you what I mean. So a nice way to maintain a consistent elevation is once I've cut this area, I can then comb the hair straight in to my hand, so I know that I'm going to be consistent in my elevation and what I'm cutting. It's like when people cut hair and they're like here, they're so close, they're looking at what they're doing in their fingers, and actually I like to step back a bit so I can see what I'm cutting in relation to the head shape, in relation to the head position as well. Let's have a very quick little look at my balance. Okay, that's lucky, I think we're balanced. Let's take another and do 2 more sections now through this top area. And I'm going to show you a little way that we can just loosen this whole shape up. Okay, so I'm going to come right over this section from here. Because although we're working everything graduated at the moment, what I'm going to go into eventually is a little bit of soft layering. And what that's good is going to give it that real, because we want to diffuse the hair and we wear the hair quite loose and soft. It's just going to allow the hair to jump up and play a little bit more. So as we come through now, work here first. I'm letting my roots tell me where my fingers need to be. So I don't really want to be over-directing the hair too much. It's more the angle of my fingers that's creating my shape. To the other side now. Sorry, keep walking in front of you. And again, my sections are what's guiding me on where my fingers need to be. The sections are a tool. You could do this haircut with incorrect sections, but it's a tool to encourage you to keep your balance, keep your combing clean, and understand where your elevation finger angle needs to be. Okay, so now we're going to just move the hair out a little bit and see how this is all sitting. Because we want to wear this with a bit of a wave in, just want to see how that's falling. It's going to be really cute. Alright, on this top section now, we're going to mix it up a little bit. So this is what we call, from the teaching, a combination haircut. So we're combining triangular graduation, and then I'm just going to do a little triangular layer through here as well. Like I said, that's going to help just soften this whole thing and allow the hair to jump up a little bit and move a little bit more. So I'm going to come through with vertical sections through here, through this top area. And this is what's going to give it the French bob look. I think it's going to really just allow this whole thing to soften slightly. So from here, there's my guide from the graduation. I'm just going to come through. And what did we say earlier about elevation? The lower we are, the heavier we're going to be. The higher we are, the lighter we're going to be. So as I'm really elevating this up, I'm going to be removing quite a lot of weight. And it's going to give us a much softer finish. So where I've got this now, up here, and I've got my graduation down here, I just need to connect these 2 points. So if I show you, I've actually before. So we've got our layer through here, our graduation's down here. So what we're going to have in here is a corner. So I'm going to come through now and just round that corner through so it all sits nice and soft. So we start at the back as we're working the triangular shape. You can see my corner in here. I'm just going to come and I'm going to round that through. Oh, I'm being round by a hair now. There we go. Guys, if you have any questions about this, please let us know. Let us know when you're tuning in from. It'd be great to hear from you. Hear where you're at, what time it is where you are. And like I said, if you're watching this back, not live, please write any questions and I'm happy to come through and I'll answer any of those for you. And then I'm just going to repeat this on this second side. I'm going to soften out the fringe slightly. And I've got a really cool way actually to create quite a broken little fringe, which I think is going to work really beautifully on this haircut, which I'll show you guys shortly. And then we can diffuse it so you can see that finished look. I'll be posting the finished look on the page afterwards. So just if you just want to have a little look at the comment section after, you'll see our finished outcome. Okay, cool. So what that's done there is that's just going to allow that. You see how that weight's pushing that out now? It's going to allow this to kick and jump a little bit more. I think it's going to be really beautiful. I'm just going to repeat this now on the second side. So again, I'm coming from where my graduation is. I'm using that as my guide for the top. And layering that down, removing that weight. And this is when it comes back to it's not just a haircut, it's hair cutting. So I'm combining two very classic haircuts to create the outcome that I want. I hope that makes sense, guys. Let me know. Let me know if it does, let me know if it doesn't. Alright. It's funny, it's so quiet, isn't it? Whenever you work in the salon, it's always so loud, you've got music playing. You've just got George staring at the camera. Tom staring at me creepily over there as well. So I'm still maintaining as well. If you look at where my sections are, my fingers are still completely parallel to my sections. And I think that's, you know, especially if you guys are starting out cutting hair, I think it's really important to understand your fingers should always be parallel to what you're cutting. And I think that's a really good guide to understand where you should be when you're cutting hair, because especially when you're starting out, it's so easy to get lost, especially, you know, in these more precise things, or you're working with a lot of hair. It'd be really tricky.
Jeff O'Neill said, hello, my boy.
Oh, hi Jeff. How you doing, mate? Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys are well in Banbury. So I'm going to do this without trying not to soak anything. I'm going to show you a little cool little way to do a really textured broken little fringe. I use this a lot when working in the salon, because I just find it, you know, I feel like the kind of really bold fringes aren't so wanted at the moment. I think that people want things a bit more broken, a bit looser and a bit more undone. And it's quite a nice way as well, just to show how you can be very technical whilst creating something that's much softer. Now for me, whenever I work, my general taste in what I'm doing, I like to, if there's anything super strong as a haircut, then I like to add some softness into it. And vice versa. If there's a haircut I'm doing that's very layered and very soft, then I might want to add something with a little bit of strength to it. Okay, so I'm going to just pull her around slightly. Beautiful. So I've got my fringe section in now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a section from the underneath here. I'm going to split that in two. And bring this hair back. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, I'm just going to lower you down a little bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, because I want to create a softer, lighter feeling through the fringe, I'm going to work horizontally and I'm going to elevate the hair right up. So layering this fringe right down. By elevating, what I'm also doing is I am actually maintaining the length. I'm reducing the length internally, but remaining the length externally. Now once that's in, you can see that creates a really soft, broken little fringe. But if I'd done that on the whole thing would feel very layered and could look slightly dated. So what I do from there is I'm going to bring them into head up for me. I'm going to come through. I'm going to be much lower in my elevation now. Bringing this down. I can see where my ends are. I'm just going to come through and break that fringe away. You could do this with a razor if you wanted to, but I just quite like working with a scissor to get that really jagged edge on it. So essentially what we're working with is disconnection. So this length is going to be sitting over the layer in the underneath. So every time the wind moves means air, it's going to sit very differently and not too uniform. Let's just have a little look at how that's sitting. So what if you look at this, if I stand there and around it, if you stay there, you'll be able to see what we've done. if I lift this up, we can see that we have this layered shape in the underneath with this length then sitting over the top. It just creates a really beautiful soft little fringe that then you can piece out and slice away as well as it dries. Beautiful. Right, let's get some of that hair off you, my darling. And I'm going to work in the outline when it's wet. The reason why there we go. Gorgeous. The reason why I'm going to work the outline in when it's wet is because we're going to be diffusing the hair. I can refine it again once it's dry, but I just want to start to get my general shape and look there. So let's bring them right up. And I'm going to really just comb the hair down now with a wide tooth and start to look at how the hair is lying. So I can see all my little outlines. And I can see that I just want to bring the whole hairline up slightly. Now, some people are quite conscious of never touching a hairline, never going into it. I think each thing completely depends on what you want to do and whether your client's happy to do it. So, I'm going to start off, and I'm looking at this line as a bit of a guide here. And I'm going to come through from this side. And I can see my guide here. I'm just going to start to create a nice curve in the hairline. As I comb that down, I can start to see. And if I use the points, I'm actually using the points to create quite a strong line. Work down from there. Guys, if you have any questions, please don't forget to let us know. I will recap this haircut in a minute. Now I can see I've got my line at the back there, and I'm just going to come round to the second side now. And as I can see my curve, I'm going to start to arch this out in the same way. Just doing a little bit at a time so I can maintain a nice balance. And obviously I'll get rid of the fluffy bits once we've got our balance there. So what I tend to do when doing this as well, if you want to actually have a little look, George, if you want to take the camera close to the mirror, what I'm going to do, if you look through the mirror in the camera, I can actually now start to see my balance quite nicely when I'm in the mirror, and I can just adjust it slightly. I always think it's quite a nice tool to use on mirrors. I think you forget about how helpful it can be when you're working. So just really using the points to just perfect that line. The reason why I'm using the points is because I'm not going to be pushing the hair at all. And whenever we're creating curved lines, it's much easier using the points of the scissors. So I can see I'm happy with my balance there. And I think that's really going to complement my build-up of weight. Okay, so as I bring them in back around now, I'm just going to clean up these little bits of the hairline. So by using the little clippers, I'd find I would never put this line in with the clippers. And the reason being is I'm never going to get that softness. I'm never going to get that beautiful curve that we've created by using a clipper. So all I'm doing with the clipper is to enhance what we've already got there. It's a bit like using a straightener once you've blow dried. I'd never just, rough dry the hair and then straighten it. I'd always want to actually blow dry the hair first, and then the straightener will polish off what I'm creating. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm just going to start softly drying the film, and then I'm going to add some product in. I'm just going to use my fingers here just to evoke any natural movement. Twisting the hair slightly. And I think that's going to dry really beautifully. We just leave that to dry on its own whilst we're just using the rest of the hair. Now what I'm going to do, because we're not going for something super curly, we're just going for something quite textured. I'm going to use a little bit of the Davines, the Love Curl Primer. I'm going to run a few spritzes of that through the hair. And then we're going to use their texturizing serum as well, just to give it a slight bit of hold. And the beautiful thing about these are, and also guys, I didn't want to spend 45 minutes with you watching me, monotonously blow drying someone's hair. So by adding that in, she's trying to evoke all Helen's beautiful natural texture that she has in her hair. And then we can start to come in when it's all dry and have a look if we need to do any more refinement for it. Okay, so I'm going to get my diffuser. And like I said, I'm not doing this to try and create curl. I'm doing it to try and enhance the texture. So very different to if I was doing like a curly haircut, for example. I mean, what do you do with your hair at home? Do you just let it dry naturally?
Yes.
Exactly. So we're trying to mimic that really natural finish. Guys, again, if you have any questions, please let us know. If you're liking what you see, please give us a like and give us a follow. My Instagram handle is James Akers Hair, which is AKERS. And then we have Cuttlefish Education, Cuttlefish Academy, so is our Instagram. I'll put the links in the comments as well, if you wanted to see more of our work, or if you wanted to book on any of our courses. We've got our triangle course coming up on I believe it's the 16th and 17th of June. So we're really excited about that. I think we've got one space left on it. But yeah, it's what we love doing here. So we're constantly assessing how this is looking as we're drying it, you know? Turn that down a little bit there. It's a bit hot. I'm burning you. But no, I think that last little bit, putting that little bit of detail in here, really brings the rest of the haircut together.
Nathan Klein has said incredible work as always, James. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
Angela Tedbert has said beautiful.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be doing a few more of these in the coming months, so please watch out for us for when we're going to be doing some cool hair. George behind the camera and Tom are our colour educators here in the Academy, so hopefully we'll get some models and do some cool colours on them for you as well. I'm not going to over dry this, I'm just going to do it enough so I've enhanced what's already there. And as a rule of thumb, obviously, when we're drying curly hair, it's normally never touch it, put your hands in your pockets. But for this thing, I want to try and manipulate it as it's working, you know? Guys, again, if you have any questions, let us know. I'll be doing a full little recap of what we've done after we've finished blow drying. So you can, if you've tuned in a little bit late, don't worry. We'll be rocking and rolling. But what I really wanted to do today was show you something that's really current, that hopefully you can take into your salon a little bit. And you know, even if there's a tiny little part of it that you can take, I'd be super happy.
Shirts, they said very chic and super feminine, love it.
Oh, that's the
Got
model.
some love arts from Sophia. And then Fab has also said stunning. Dyson or Paula? Question mark.
That is a very good question. For me, when I first got the Dyson, I actually got it because it was lockdown and I was doing a lot of live education and no one could hear me. So I found the Dyson so much quieter that I thought it worked really well for what I needed it for. And now I can't go back. I love these hairdryers. They're so light, they're great. Please let us know, guys, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Dysons, Parluxes, anything else? Has anyone tried the new Dyson? Our friend just got one. It looks very interesting. Very phallic. Cool, just have a little look in the mirror there, George, as well, so you can see how we're looking. As well, start to see. You can really start to see this build up of weight. You can see how we really built the head shape up through the back here. Really got this lovely graduation that's working for me really nicely through there. Okay. I think that's enough. So I'm just going to come in now with my scissors into this fringe area and use the wider tube of my comb just to see how that's all sitting.
Carol has said super merci, thumbs up also, Jamie.
Thank you so much for tuning in, Carol. Really appreciate it. We really appreciate any of your comments, guys. And like I said, if you do like what you see, please give us a little thumbs up, give us a follow, give us a like. Cuttlefish Academy and Cuttlefish Education. And again, thank you so much to Hairbrained for having us on their fantastic platform. Super grateful. Yeah, you can see it's getting that really nice little bitty texture now. I'm just coming through now. I'm going to come down to it. I'm just now looking at how this is all coming together. So although this is a very small portion of the work here, putting these outlines in, I do think that it really does bring the whole haircut together. So this side, make sure this is all sitting really beautifully. And we can almost see how I was talking about the weight being pushed forward. We can see what that's doing. It is really pushing that forward, which is looking really beautiful. I think using these curved lines really complements Ermine's neck. It's very feminine, it's very soft. But it also adds a little bit of a punch to it as well, to make it feel like a haircut, like a look, do you know what I mean? So I'm just using now, I'm just going to use a little bit of this Davines Invisible Serum. And what that's going to do is just going to help me kind of piece the hair out a little bit. So I'm going to work it through the fringe.
Cookie said beautiful work.
Thank you so much, Cookie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'm looking for that like quite kitteny fringe, really piecey, really soft. I think that looks really beautiful on that one side's tucked into me here as well. Okay, let's give you a little brush down. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to take the gown off and I'm going to get Ermine to stand up if that's okay. Well, if you just want to stand up here, I'll take that gown off you. I'm going to pop up, I'll take her, it's okay. There we go. If you want to pop up, punch the flip over, and yeah, there you go. And I'm just going to talk you through now the whole haircut. So guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. My name's James Akers and I'm the Head of Education, Creative Director here at Cuttlefish Academy. This is my gorgeous model, Ermine. Now what we've done is we've worked a really classic French bob, which technically we would call triangle graduation, although I have worked a triangular layer through this as well. We started off with a vertical section in the back, pivoting round to horizontal to build this beautiful weight behind the ear. Once we've worked to our horizontal section, we've then carried on working horizontally, elevating the hair slightly more each time. By being higher in the back, lower towards the front, that's allowed us to get that beautiful triangular shape where we're getting longer towards the front. Just so I could evoke a little bit more of this movement like we have through here. Especially if we come around and see from this side, I can really see this beautiful movement that's come out. That comes from where we've layered this through. So I then elevated the hair, connected from my graduation over the top of the head into a triangular layer, so the layer getting longer towards the front. And then where my graduation was down here and my layer was up here, I've just kind of rounded this through as we've worked. Okay, give us a little 12 for the camera and then go on. Yeah, give it a little 12 so we can just see all the angles. Beautiful. All right, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us. If you have any questions, just let us know and I'll come back and answer them. Thank you.
Merci.